All right, in today's video, I'm going to be taking you folks from a little bit of a branch out from downtown Stuart here. I'm in my parking lot that I've shown you before. Appreciate you guys reaching out to me and saying, hey, I'm going to use your parking lot because it can be tough to get a parking spot here in Stuart. That all aside, we're going to take you to some of the places that I like a little outside of Stuart. And one of the places that I'm going to take you today is a special little town called Fort Pierce. I've done some videos on it before, but today I'm going to show you my 5 favorite restaurants to eat at. There are going to be some ambiance spots. There's going to be some spots down by the beach. There's going to be some spots in downtown Fort Pierce, spot where you can get some steak, spot where you can get a square grouper or a grouper sandwich at the square grouper. That's a sneak peek of what's to come. So I'm going to take you from my parking lot here. I'm going to go up Indian River Drive, show you a little bit about that Indian River Drive, which is a beautiful little drive up the seacoast here. And it's about 25 minutes north. So I'm going to get in the car. We're going to go up and I'm going to show you Fort Pierce today. Let's get into it. Okay, I wanted to stop here and show you little spots like this. So I'm just north of Walton Road on Indian River Drive. So these are a little banyan tree spots. So if you were coming up Indian River Drive and you wanted to put on your GPS Walton Road, it's just north of Walton Road up on the left. And this gentleman doesn't have a problem with you parking his driveway, maybe taking some Instagram photos. So now I'm gonna take you across the street to see this beautiful view that Indian River Drive, driving up and down Indian River Drive. So here it is. This is Indian River Drive, and this is the intercoastal here. So this goes north and south all the way up from Miami up into Chesapeake Bay. And this is a wider portion of the intercoastal. So you can see, imagine driving up Indian River Drive and seeing this the whole way up. It's one of the most beautiful drives in Southeast Florida I've found. You know, you can go out to Palm Beach Island, you can go to Jupiter Island and so forth. But Indian River Drive coming up all the way from Sewell's Point up to Fort Pierce. I just wanted to stop at this little spot to show you what you can experience up here in the Treasure Coast if you're coming up from Broward, or if you're coming down from New York or New England or so forth and you want to really see Florida. You can see the pelicans diving, catching some mullet. This is a wonderful drive. Check out Indian River Drive and this banyan tree spot, which is just up from Walton Road. All right, so the first spot I want to show you here is out on the island. There's actually 2 distinct portions of Fort Pierce that I think it's important that you're aware of. So you have downtown Fort Pierce, which is over the bridge, and that's the old area of Fort Pierce. You're gonna get to see some of the old buildings that are down there. So then you have this kind of newer area of Fort Pierce that's out on the island on Seaway Drive, and that's where I am. I'm right here at the inlet. Look at this beautiful turquoise water. This is actually South Hutchinson Island that's right over here, and that's North Hutchinson Island that's over there, and that's the inlet, all right? So the first spot that I'm gonna actually show you is the square grouper. Now, the square grouper, you might have thought, oh, I remember the square grouper. Well, there's one down in Jupiter called the square grouper, and it goes way, way back when they used to smuggle in, you know, square grouper is actually bales of things that are square. You know what I'm talking about? The square grouper is renowned for having country singers come in there that, you know, just off the street that are like very famous singers and so forth. So they got some decent food down there at Square Grouper in Jupiter. Right over here, just over here over my shoulder, and I'm gonna take you up there in a second, is the Square Grouper. Now there's a walkway that goes all up and down here, so you can literally walk, jog, bike up and down this walkway. You can see there's a little park here out on the end of the north part of South Hutchinson Island, which is right over there. Then there's a couple restaurants over here that, you know, I'm not going to show you inside them and so forth, but you have the Jetty, which is kind of more of a bar-y bar, and then you have Hurricane Grill. Now the Hurricane Grill is like a chain of restaurants down here. So anybody out there that says, oh, Fort Pierce is ratty and da-da-da, it's just not. So I come up here, especially when I have family in town, take them up Indian River Drive and go into downtown Fort Pierce, and they're like, wow, this is so beautiful. And they don't hear about the other areas of Fort Pierce that people like to talk about. I won't talk about those. So first place I'm going to take you into over here is the Square Grouper. Great food in here. They got like 2.3 thousand reviews. They got like a 4.2 stars on there. Good live music. If you come down here, you're going to want to go to the Square Grouper. The next spot that I'm going to take you is literally, you know, just a couple 100 yards south of that. That is Manatee. So let's take you over here into the Square Grouper, show you around there. and then we'll take you over to Manatee and then the next spot. All right, so we're heading up here into the Square Grouper. Beautiful little walkway that comes up here. And, you know, just as a side note, Fort Pierce gets a bad rap. And, you know, Port St. Lucie gets a bad rap. And I'm not a big fan of it. So what you'll find here is a family atmosphere. You're going to find, so I'm going to spin this around so you can see in here. So this is the Square Grouper. You got a beautiful bar over there. You got the stage here with the Square Grouper. Stage, bar. It almost looks the same as down in Jupiter. You got a bar over here, which goes off more on the weekends. This is a great spot. Some people come down and actually watch the rocket launches over there. You can see the rockets go up from Cape Canaveral, the SpaceX stuff. And over in here, you can see. All right, so that's a Square Grouper. I highly recommend the Grouper sandwich here. They got chicken wings and beers and drinks and margaritas and all that kind of stuff. And usually you get reggae bands. You can hear kind of the reggae going here in the background, but this is that Florida feel that you're looking for, thatched roofs and so forth. These are the places that we like to show people. All right, the next spot we're at here is Manatee Island, literally a quarter mile down from the Square Grouper. Similar feel to Square Grouper. However, you got a little bit of different colors in that. You do have live music that happens here at Manatee Island, but you're going to get kind of that thatched tiki roof hut kind of thing come in. It actually has a little bit of a feel, kind of like the Fiji Islands kind of stuff. I don't know if you get that feel here. And these are great spots to bring the kids to because you feel like you're kind of out in the islands. This gets you a feel of Manatee Island, right? Not quite the you know, the flooring that you have over at Square Grouper. This is all decking here, so if you didn't want to kind of get your feet in the sand type thing, this is kind of more your thing. Welcome manatees, yeah. So we'll take you over into here, and you can kind of come down. This will take you down onto that boardwalk that I talked about, which comes all the way down here. And I'm going to stop it here and then we'll take you inside. So this is more a little bit of an outdoor feel. This is more of if you want to have a little bit more, maybe a little bit more refined outdoor feel. That's what you're going to get here at Manatee Island. And not going to be the live music outside. So if you want some live music, then you're going to want to go over to the Square Grouper. And if you want kind of just a little bit more of a refined feel, but you got the thatched huts over here, thatched roof. That's the kind of feel that you're going to get here. So Manatee Island is a good option. So this is more of an air-conditioned dining feel, whereas you're going to get over at Square Grouper, it's going to be more of an outdoor. All of it is outdoor. So if you want an indoor feel with the windows opened out onto the intercoastal, still have that view, this is going to be Manatee Island is going to be the go-to for you. So they have around 2,400 reviews here and a 4.3 stars on Google. Oh, P.S. by the way, if you want to check out our Google business profile, we have over 500 something reviews on our Google business profile. And we're always here to help you with any of your real estate needs. But one of the things I like to do is show people what it's like. This spot here, reason I wanted to show you on the edge, which is kind of like literally compared to Manatee Island and the Square Grouper, you would kind of look at this and be like, I'd rather eat over there. Well, the reason that this place is cool is it's been here a long time. They have a great like New Year's parties here. You got a stage over here. So this place is called On the Edge. And they have great live music here. I've come here for New Year's. It was quite a cool night. But if you had a boat, you can actually come in here to the On the Edge Marina. So if you thought to yourself, and then they also have places you can stay here as well. Now, you got the outdoor seating here, similar to the Square Grouper, where it's kind of that crushed coral on the ground there, and the bar thing going on over here. And you can see kind of a mix almost between Manatee Island and the Square Grouper. So you have the crushed coral, thatched hut, you have bar thing going on here, but not like the plexiglass siding. This is kind of more kind of pull down drapes. This is the islands. So again, Fort Pierce is not super refined in general. So if you're looking for something more really refined, you're going to want to probably come down into Stuart, or you're going to want to go into Jupiter, or even down into West Palm Beach, or even up to Vero on the beach. Fort Pierce is more of a beach town. Yeah, you can get some great food up here, and there's a couple spots here, especially the ones that I'm going to show you in the end, that have really great food. And not to say these places don't have great food, but it's kind of more of that bar food. So at the edge here, they have gator bites, burgers, wings, hot dogs, French fries, that kind of thing. That's what you're going to want. And, you know, a nice, great margarita. Well, I don't drink anymore, but I've heard they make a great margarita, pina colada, that kind of thing. So on the edge, Manatee Island, Square Grouper, these are kind of more of that real Florida beachy feel. All right, so before I kind of work my way back down Seaway Drive back into Fort Pierce, there's something I wanted to show you out here. Couple things. First, little park over here, and then the inlet right there. All right, so you can get beach access over here, parking here, bathhouse over there, and so forth. So you can have beautiful view of that inlet and that turquoise water coming in. Now there's a little area right over here just adjacent to that park, and you have the Island Beach Bar and Restaurant. I'm not going to go into these like some of the others. I'm just going to walk and kind of show you, and you can hear in the background a little country music going on, light breeze, you know, regular old picnic tables, the old days of picnic tables where the varnish is wearing off, that feeling of the Keys. Then you got like over in here, these little seating areas where people are swaying back and forth. You can see having a little food over in there. You can picture yourself there. Now, the next spot we have over here is the Island Burger and Shake. Good spot if you want to come out, grab a shake, grab some burgers, fries. You can feel that this feels like the Keys here. And then, of course, we have Hurricane Grill. Now, Hurricane Grill, I mentioned it earlier. There's a few chains here on the Treasure Coast. It's more of like the French fries and wings. They're really renowned for their wings. And then if you wanted a bar feel, you got the Jetty over here. So it's a little rough in there. Not like you're going to get beat up rough, but if you ever been in a kind of a, you know, people smoking cigarettes outside, that feel, might even go in there, just check out a drink and say, hey, I went to the Jetty, let me know about it. Okay, one spot that I wanted to show you. Now, I came up here on a Monday, and so Chuck's isn't open, but I wanted to let you know about Chuck's. Chuck's has been here for quite a long time. A massive parking lot. Chuck's Seafood and Steakhouse. So if you want a great piece of fish and you want a nice piece of steak, or both, do the surf and turf, Chuck's is for you. They do live music here. They have a raw bar. Now this is a little bit of a mix of more like, yeah, probably like a little bit of Manatee Island, a little bit of Square Grouper. And you can see this old outdoor seating here, like starfish and octopus and stuff on these bar stools. And really, what is it all about here at Chuck's? It's all about sitting here and looking out at this beautiful turquoise water. Now, there is an inside area as well where they have some live music. There's a little tiny stage over here where they have some live music going on as well. But you can see all this outdoor seating out here, right? And you can hear literally the waves washing up here, lapping the shore, mangroves spilling almost into the eating area here. So happy hour here at Chuck's is every day as well. From open at 3 till 6 is happy hour, live music, raw bar, cold drinks, and this place has been here for 20 odd something years, so you know it has to be good. Now, next I'm going to take you into downtown Fort Pierce, which you're going to see some of the old buildings that were built in the 20s and so forth. And there can be a little bit more of a refined feel there. For you younger crowd out there, actually, downtown Fort Pierce has become a little bit of a hot spot for, you know, the people that come out from Okeechobee or even down from Vero, even up from Stuart. So you get some live music in that goes on Friday, Saturday night if you want a little bit of that bar feel. Or you parents out there, your kids come into town and they want to know, hey, where should we go out? Stuart, yeah, there's some spots for sure, but you probably want to send them up to Fort Pierce. You're going to have a little bit more of a kind of a dancey music kind of feel. So let's take you into downtown Fort Pierce and show you one of my favorite places to take people from out of town and come up with on occasion myself. Fort Pierce City Marina, I'm here at the epicenter of it. So I'm going to take you over to Krabby's first, and then I'm going to take you to Cobb's Landing. But this is really the epicenter of downtown Fort Pierce. I've done some other videos on Fort Pierce right over here. On the weekend, they actually have a green market over here, and very safe, very quiet, nice little area here. So let's take you over to Krabby's. Now, if you're a boater, you do have a marina right here. So all you have to do is Google Fort Pierce City Marina, and you should be able to find a slip in here. So we'll take you over here to Krabby's, and then we're gonna take you over to Cobb's Landing. And then the last spot I'm gonna take you to is the steakhouse that's in the downtown, like real kind of on the street of Fort Pierce. So you have the Dockmaster over here, and then City Marina gift shop. And over here you have Krabby's. You can see some people out here grabbing a drink. And then this new marina is right here. And you can see the fish along the wall. So if you wanted to bring down some food after you ate, throw it in the water, catfish will come up. Maybe you'll see a tarpon and some jacks. But this is Krabby's. We'll take you inside to Krabby's. And I love the smell. All right, here we go. So you got an ice cream bar here. So you want to grab some ice cream, sundae, that kind of stuff. So if you want to just come down for a little bit of ice cream action and your sweets and so forth. And this is more marina feel. Booths out here. So if you want to come and grab a game, you can do that. Fort Pierce, Florida, got the big old American flag up there. And you got the open air that happens here. So in the summertime, you're gonna close these up and you're gonna get quite a feel. So here you go. So that's Krabby's. Now you get to see where if you want to come down and just grab some ice cream. I actually just got to talk to the GM, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm showing people the town." He's like, "Okay, great. You know, any business that we can bring in." So that's another thing. Just as a side note, you know, I came up from Fort Lauderdale, and it's just a little bit more of, you probably have a hard time going into a restaurant down there, and if you did, they might give you a really hard time. But people here are just very open. Hey, what are you doing? You know, this is what I'm doing. Hey, okay, great. Let's show you around. So there's your Krabby sign. You'll know, just look, come to downtown Fort Pierce. You got your sign right here, let you know all the different history of Fort Pierce and so forth. You got a park over here. You can do a little fishing out here. You had a boat, marina. I'm going to take you over to Cobb's Landing. This place is a very iconic spot. And then we're going to take you to the last spot in downtown Fort Pierce along the main street here, where you can grab a really great steak. So let's take you into Cobb's Landing now. All right, here we are coming into Cobb's Landing. And this is, you know, similar feel to all these bars. You got some guys setting up for some live music, even on a Monday. And you got the outdoor seating in the marina here. Indoor seating in here as well. And inside here, this is a place you want to come and grab a game. Kind of has almost the Conky Joe's feel to it, which I've done some videos in Jensen Beach on Conky Joe's. Great restaurant here, outdoor bar, and there is an inside bar as well. So that's it for this downtown marina area. You have Krabby's, Cobb's Landing, and then if you wanted to walk up into downtown Fort Pierce, there's sushi, there's steak, there's bars where you can get, you know, live bands. So really worth coming up from downtown Stuart, worth coming up from Hope Sound. I would say it's even worth, if you want a little bit of that quieter feel, coming up from West Palm, come to Fort Pierce. And hey, P.S. and by the way, the real estate prices here are half, if not a third. I've done a lot of videos showing you the comparisons of coming up from Miami or coming up from West Palm Beach, and the stark contrast that you get in pricing coming up here. And one of the things I like to do is show people these areas so that you can, you know, whenever you get any of these comments that you see from other people, oh, there's nothing going on up there. There's a lot going on up here. It's just not that really fast-paced life that you get down in West Palm and so forth, but you can always go down there if you want to check that out. All right, last one I have for you here is the Fort Steakhouse. Now, this is definitely a little bit more of a refined feel. And this is Florida, so it's actually the second largest producer of beef in the United States. So we get some great steaks down here in Florida. And this is the Fort Steakhouse. Now, you can see the cow sticking out here. This is right in downtown Fort Pierce. Just Google it. You'll see there's some incredible reviews online. You got the Sunshine Theater that's right across the street. I did want you to know about the Fort Steakhouse right here in downtown Fort Pierce. Now, lastly, I'm gonna cruise down the road so you can get a little feel of downtown Fort Pierce. Then we're gonna get the drone up in the air and you're gonna get to see some final shots of downtown Fort Pierce with the turquoise water. Beautiful day here. And lastly, hey, we see a lot of people watching the videos out there that are not subscribed. So this is that cheesy moment where I say, hey, please subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. It helps the algorithm. You can hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when we put new content out. So I took you out onto the beach. You got to see kind of the beachy Key Westy feel. Downtown Fort Pierce, place to get ice cream, place to get some good food, place to get, surf and turf. And then lastly here at the steakhouse, if you want a nice fine dining experience, that's it. So we'll see you on the next video.